ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to show you how to do secant and cosecant graphs. I just had 2 examples from your homework. The first one we're going to do is number 1 from your homework. Okay, so this is the number 1 from your homework. So the first thing you do is what I showed you guys before, where you find all your important pieces. So the first thing you want to find, oh no, I'm sorry, this is number 4 from your homework. So the first thing you want to find is your amplitude. So you know that's your A. And then you find your period. So remember, in this case, because it's secant, it'll be equal to 2 pi divided by B. In this case, it'll be, this is 1/2 times x. So please keep in mind that this theta is equal to x. So you can just change it. So my B is 1/2. So when you put all that in your calculator, you get that your period is equal to 4 pi. After you find your period, you want to find your phase shift. So remember, your phase shift is equal to C over B. My C in this case is 0. My B, once again, is 1/2. So 0 divided by anything is 0. So I have no phase shift. My vertical shift is always my D. And in this case, that's up 1. Alright, so that's all of that information. Okay, so if you need to take notes on that, please feel free. I'm going to go ahead and clear it off. So if you need to pause the video, feel free to pause it and take the notes. So now that I have period, phase shift, vertical shift, the next thing I need to find is my left and right endpoints. So my left endpoint, so remember I told you guys to go back to your original method of finding your endpoints, and that is B times X minus C equals 0 for your left endpoint. So in this case, that will just be, I'm going to change the theta to X. X divided by 2 is equal to 0 because I had no C. So if I multiply both sides by 2, 0 times 2 is 0. So X equals 0. Now for my right endpoint, I have B times X minus C is equal to 2 pi. So once again, I have no C, so it's just X divided by 2 equals 2 pi. So if I multiply both sides again by 2, I get that my right endpoint is 4 pi. So once again, if you need to pause the video so you can make sure you take down these notes, feel free to go ahead and do that. But I'm about to clear it off. Alright, so filling in my pertinent information, I had no phase shift. My left end was 0, my right end was 4 pi, and my vertical shift was up 1. Okay, now let's go ahead and graph it. Alright, so you do what you always do. You take your period, which in this case was 4 pi, divided by 4, and that means you add pi to your answers. So our left endpoint was 0, right endpoint was 4 pi. So if I do 0 plus pi, that's pi. Pi plus pi, that's 2 pi. And then 2 pi plus pi is 3. Okay? So the next thing you need to make sure that you do correctly is place your asymptotes. Now remember that your secant of x is equal to 1 over, right, yep, cosine of x. So that means if my cosine starts up, my secant will start up. So before you put that, you want to put in your amplitude. So remember, there was a phase shift of 1. So that means I have my fake x-asymptote, my fake x-axis at 1. So that's my new fake axis. I'm going to go up 1/2. So 1 plus 1/2 is 1.5. 1 minus 1/2 is just regular old 0.5. So like I said, because it's correlated with cosine, that means I'm going to start up first. And then that means I start on the x-axis at my very first point, y-axis on my very first point, and my asymptote will be every other. So asymptote is at pi, not at 2 pi, at 3 pi, not at 4 pi, and then if you want to go again to 5 pi, that would also be the asymptote. So you could keep going by every other pi. So I go up, and then this one is at pi, but I go down. This one is at positive 0.25, so I go up. And that is the graph of my secant. So if you need to rewatch the video, feel free to rewatch the video. If you have any questions, just post them onto my Edmodo page, and I'll try and answer them as soon as I can. Thank you.